The quantum array stretched across the Atacama Desert like a metallic spider's web, its receivers glinting under the harsh Chilean sun. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the control center's viewport, her dark eyes fixed on the distant horizon, where the array disappeared into the heat haze. The facility hummed with the sound of cooling systems and processing units, but Sarah barely noticed it anymore. After 3 years of listening to the cosmos, it had become white noise. "Dr. Chen, we're picking up something unusual in Sector 7. Marcus Rodriguez, her lead signal analyst, called from his station. His voice carried an edge she hadn't heard before. Sarah moved swiftly to his terminal, her reflection in the holographic display showing the same focused expression she'd worn since taking the position as Earth's lead SETI researcher. "Show me." The signal pattern pulsed across the screen, beautiful in its complexity, yet unnaturally ordered. It originated from somewhere near the Epsilon Eridani system, approximately 10.5 light-years from Earth. Unlike the usual random bursts of cosmic radiation or the steady beacon of a pulsar, this signal followed a mathematical sequence that made Sarah's heart race. "It's repeating every 127 seconds," Marcus said, his fingers dancing across the haptic interface. "The pattern is consistent with an artificial source." Sarah nodded slowly, her mind already racing through the implications. How long has it been broadcasting? That's the thing. Marcus pulled up a timeline display. "We first detected it 48 hours ago, but when we analyzed the signal structure, we found something buried in the noise. This isn't just a hello from space. There's data encoded in the carrier wave." Sarah leaned closer, studying the cascading numbers. After 15 years of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, humanity had finally received its answer. But something about the signal's structure bothered her. The mathematical sequence was too perfect, too easily decoded. It was almost as if, "Run it through the quantum decoder," she ordered, pulling up her own terminal. Full spectrum analysis. The quantum computer began its work, breaking down the signal into its constituent parts. As layers of data peeled away, Sarah's suspicion grew. Hidden beneath the seemingly peaceful greeting was something else, something that reminded her of military encryption protocols she'd studied during her brief stint with the Defense Department. "Record everything, but maintain radio silence," she commanded, straightening up. "And get me a secure line to the Security Council. Now." Within hours, the facility's quiet academic atmosphere transformed. Military personnel arrived discreetly, setting up additional monitoring equipment while maintaining the observatory's civilian appearance. Dr. Chen found herself in a secured underground chamber, briefing the United Earth Security Council through quantum-encrypted channels. "The signal appears to be a first contact invitation," she explained, gesturing to the holographic display. "But embedded within it are complex military signatures. Whoever sent this message wants us to respond using their protocols. Protocols that would give them unprecedented access to our communication systems." Council President Adaimai leaned forward in his chair, his holographic form flickering slightly. "Are you suggesting this is a prelude to hostile action, Dr. Chen?" "I'm suggesting we've been handed a Trojan horse," Sarah replied. "The signal's architecture contains dormant command protocols. If we responded as invited, we'd essentially be installing their software into our global communication network. But there's something else, something that makes me think we're not dealing with a simple invasion force." She pulled up another data set, showing the signal's underlying structure. "The encryption is elegant, but it's designed to be broken by a civilization at our apparent level of development. They want us to think we're cleverly discovering their true intentions, while missing the bigger picture." "Which is?" General Martinez asked from his Pentagon office. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "They're testing us. This isn't just about invasion, it's about evaluation. They want to see how we handle the threat, probably to determine if we're worth conquering or just eliminating. But in creating this test, they've made a crucial mistake." She gestured, and the holographic display shifted to show Earth's quantum defense grid, a project she'd been secretly working on for the past 3 years. They don't know about this. Our quantum technology is decades ahead of what we've publicly demonstrated. While they think they're evaluating us, we can use their own signal to map their capabilities. The council chambers fell silent as the implications sank in. Finally, President Adeyemi spoke. "What do you propose, Doctor?" "We play their game," Sarah said, her voice firm. "But we play it our way. We'll respond exactly as they expect. Confused, excited, and apparently vulnerable. Meanwhile, we use their signal as a backdoor into their own systems. They think they're dealing with a primitive species just learning to reach for the stars. Let's use that assumption against them." The plan took shape over the next few weeks. While the world's media buzzed with excitement over humanity's first contact with alien life, Sarah and her team worked tirelessly in their underground facility. They crafted a response that appeared to come from an enthusiastic but naive civilization, while their quantum systems worked to decrypt the aliens' technology. "They're calling themselves the Drachnid," Sarah reported to the council 1 month later. "And they're not just testing us. They're hunting us. We've found records of 17 other civilizations they've evaluated. None of them exist anymore." But as Sarah studied the Drachnid's technology and methodology, she found herself growing more confident. The aliens' superiority was based on assumptions about how technology should develop, about how species should behave. They had never encountered a civilization that had developed quantum computing before mastering fusion power, or one that had chosen to hide its true capabilities. They had never encountered humanity. As Sarah put the finishing touches on Earth's response, she paused to look at the quantum array stretching across the desert. Soon, it would broadcast humanity's carefully crafted message of peaceful greeting, while simultaneously launching the most sophisticated cyber warfare campaign in history. The Drachnid thought they were evaluating a potential conquest. Instead, they were about to learn a valuable lesson about underestimating their prey. "Message is ready for transmission," Marcus announced. Sarah took a deep breath, her finger hovering over the broadcast initiation. "Let's show them how humans say hello." Colonel Maya Patel stood in Earth's newly constructed Quantum Defense Command, watching holographic projections of military installations being built beneath the surface of Mars. The Red Planet had become humanity's forward operating base, hidden from the prying eyes of approaching Drachnid scouts. 3 months had passed since Dr. Chen's discovery, and Earth had used every second. "Status report on Project Aegis," Maya commanded, her voice carrying the authority earned through 15 years of Special Operations Command. Lieutenant Commander Jackson pulled up the latest data streams. Shield generators are at 87% capacity. The quantum entanglement network is fully operational across all major population centers. We can have the entire planetary defense grid online in under 3 minutes. Maya nodded, studying the complex web of energy signatures that would soon protect Earth. The beauty of their defense system lay in its invisibility. To any outside observer, Earth still appeared to be a relatively primitive civilization, barely capable of lunar exploration. Her quantum comm chimed. "Colonel, Dr. Chen requests your presence in Lab 7. The underground laboratory complex spread beneath the Rocky Mountains like a technological anthill." Maya found Sarah surrounded by floating holographic displays, her fingers moving through streams of alien code. "You need to see this," Sarah said without looking up. "The Drachnid just launched their deep space reconnaissance probes. But there's something different about their approach this time." The holographic display shifted to show the trajectory of alien vessels approaching the solar system. "They're being more cautious than with previous civilizations. Our response to their signal has them intrigued." Maya studied the data. "They suspect something." "Not exactly." Sarah pulled up comparison data from previous Drachnid conquests. In every other case, they encountered either outright hostility or naive enthusiasm. Our measured response, combined with the subtle irregularities we planted in our transmission, has forced them to adjust their standard protocol. "Good," Maya allowed herself a small smile. "The more they deviate from their usual patterns, the more likely they are to make mistakes. A warning light pulsed on one of the displays. Sarah's fingers flew across the interface, pulling up new data streams. They're deploying quantum sensors, advanced ones. They're trying to get a detailed scan of our technological capabilities. Maya watched as the alien probes began their careful approach toward the outer solar system. Perfect timing. Shall we give them something to find? Sarah nodded, initiating a program she prepared for exactly this moment. Across the solar system, carefully positioned quantum beacons activated, creating a sophisticated false signature network. To the Drachnid's advanced sensors, it would appear as though Earth was attempting to hide early-stage quantum experimentation, exactly what they would expect from a developing civilization. Bait taken, Sarah announced as the alien probes adjusted their course to investigate the signals. They're focusing their attention exactly where we want them. Maya moved to the strategic display, where a real-time simulation showed the positions of Earth's true defensive capabilities, all carefully shielded from detection. The Mars base, the asteroid belt weapons platforms, the quantum shield network, all invisible beneath layers of technological camouflage. Commander Jackson, Maya activated her comm. Begin Phase 2 of the planetary defense deployment. Full stealth protocols. Across the solar system, humanity's real preparations continued. Hidden factories in the asteroid belt produced autonomous defense drones by the thousands. Beneath the surface of Mars, quantum-powered weapons platforms waited in silent readiness. And in laboratories across Earth, scientists like Sarah continued to unravel the secrets of Drachnid technology. How much have you learned from their probe signals? Maya asked, watching the alien devices move through their careful search pattern. Sarah pulled up a new display, showing the complex architecture of Drachnid military systems. Their technology is impressive, but predictable. They've been the dominant species for so long, they've stopped innovating. Their quantum systems are powerful but rigid. They never expected to encounter someone who could turn their own technology against them. A priority alert flashed across the main screen. One of the Drachnid probes had penetrated deeper into the solar system, approaching the orbit of Saturn. Maya watched as it deployed a more sophisticated scanning array. They're looking for something specific, Sarah mused, studying the probe's behavior. The pattern suggests they're searching for quantum communication signatures. They know we've achieved basic quantum computing, and they're trying to gauge our exact level of development. Let's give them something to think about, Maya decided. She opened a channel to the Mars Command Center. Initiate Protocol Omega-7. Let's show our friends what they expect to see. Across the solar system, carefully prepared quantum signatures began to emerge. To the Drachnid sensors, it would appear as though Earth was attempting to establish a primitive quantum communication network, and failing. The signatures were erratic, unstable, exactly what would be expected from a civilization still struggling to master the technology. They're responding, Sarah announced, watching the probe's reaction. Increasing scan intensity, trying to get a better read on our failed experiments. Maya smiled. Every scan, every probe, every attempt to understand Earth's capabilities only fed more disinformation into the Drachnid systems. They were building a picture of humanity that was exactly what they expected to see, and completely wrong. How long until their main fleet arrives? She asked. Sarah checked the long-range sensors. Based on their current deployment pattern, 3 weeks. They're bringing 17 capital ships, standard procedure for what they believe to be an easy conquest. 17 ships against one primitive planet, Maya mused. I almost feel sorry for them. A new alert flashed across the displays. Sarah's expression turned serious as she analyzed the data. They've launched their final reconnaissance wave. Long-range sensors detect major fleet movement near Epsilon Eridani. Then we're officially on countdown. Maya straightened her uniform. Notify all commands. Operation Silent Guardian is now active. Maximum stealth protocols remain in effect until my direct order. As she turned to leave the laboratory, Maya paused. Dr. Chen, When this is over, I want you to document everything. Future generations should know how humanity faced its first interstellar threat." Sarah nodded, her attention already returning to the streams of data flowing through her displays. "I'll make sure they remember, Colonel. But first, let's give the Drachnid a lesson they'll never forget." The pieces were set. Humanity's trap was ready. All that remained was for their overconfident opponents to spring it. The Drachnid fleet emerged from hyperspace in a cascade of purple-white energy, their 17 capital ships arranging themselves in the traditional conquest formation. Each vessel stretched nearly 5 kilometers in length, their hulls gleaming with an iridescent metal unknown to human science, or so the Drachnid thought. In her command center beneath Olympus Mons, Colonel Maya Patel watched the alien armada through quantum-enhanced sensors. The Drachnid ships hung in space beyond Mars' orbit, their weapon systems powered but inactive, a predator confident in its superiority. "Right on schedule," Maya noted as Dr. Chen's hologram materialized beside her. "How are our guests doing?" Sarah's image flickered as she manipulated data streams from her Earth facility. "They're broadcasting the standard conquest protocol. Demands for surrender, threats of annihilation, the usual. But their combat systems are still running on the protocols we extracted from their probes. Time to make our introductions then." Maya opened a channel to all Earth defense stations. "Operation Silent Guardian is now active. Initiate Phase 1. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses stirred to life. Quantum computers that had been passively collecting data on Drachnid systems for weeks began their careful infiltration. Through vulnerabilities discovered during the probe analysis, Earth's AI systems slipped past alien firewalls, establishing backdoors in critical systems. The Drachnid Supreme Commander's hologram appeared above the command center's main display. His reptilian features were arranged in what passed for a condescending smile among his species. "Primitive beings of Sol 3, he began, his translated voice echoing through the chamber. "Your pitiful attempts at quantum technology have brought you to our attention. Submit to Drachnid authority, and your species may survive as servants. Resist, and—" "Actually," Maya interrupted, standing casually before the alien's massive hologram, "I have a counter-proposal." The commander's expression shifted to one of confusion, then amusement. "You dare to bargain? Your species has barely mastered fusion power. Your quantum experiments are failures. What could you possibly offer the Drachnid Empire?" Maya smiled. A lesson in humility. She nodded to Sarah, who initiated their first surprise. Across the Drachnid fleet, ship after ship reported sudden power fluctuations. Warning systems blared as external sensors detected a massive energy buildup throughout the solar system. The asteroid belt came alive. Thousands of automated defense platforms emerged from their hiding places, their quantum shields dropping to reveal weapons already locked on Drachnid positions. Beneath the surface of Mars, massive gun batteries powered up, their hypervelocity projectiles guided by targeting systems far more advanced than anything the Drachnid had encountered. "Impossible," the Supreme Commander snarled, his composure cracking. "Our scans showed no signs of." "Of course they didn't," Sarah cut in, her hologram manipulating data streams with practiced ease. "Your scans showed exactly what we wanted them to show. Just like your probes reported exactly what we wanted them to report. Tell me, Commander, did it never occur to you that a species might deliberately appear less advanced than they are?" On the tactical display, red warning indicators began flashing across the Drachnid fleet. Ship after ship reported critical system failures as Earth's quantum viruses, planted weeks ago through the reconnaissance probes, began their work. "This is your only warning," Maya stated, her voice carrying the weight of authority. "The weapons currently targeting your fleet are powered by quantum-enhanced antimatter reactors. Your shields, which we've been studying for weeks, cannot stop them. Furthermore, your ship's core systems are now under our partial control. To demonstrate," she gestured to Sarah, who executed a prepared command. Throughout the Drachnid fleet, artificial gravity systems suddenly reversed, leaving alien crews floating helplessly in their command centers. The Supreme Commander's hologram flickered as he barked orders in his native tongue, trying to regain control of his ships. This treachery will not go unpunished. The full might of the Drachnid Empire will do exactly nothing. Maya interrupted again. While you were focusing your attention on Earth, our quantum AI systems were busy mapping your entire communication network. We know about the other fleets you have stationed throughout nearby systems. We know about the reinforcements you're hoping to call. And most importantly, we know about the quantum vulnerabilities in every piece of Drachnid technology. Sarah pulled up a new display, showing the extent of their infiltration. Your entire empire runs on standardized quantum protocols, efficient, but predictable. Once we understood the basic architecture, compromising your systems was simply a matter of time. Time you gave us by being so confident in your superiority. The Supreme Commander's expression had shifted from anger to something approaching fear. What do you want? Maya's voice was steel. First, you're going to withdraw your fleet. Then, you're going to acknowledge Earth's territory, including our entire solar system, as sovereign and independent. Finally, you're going to rethink your policy of conquering developing civilizations. And if we refuse? In response, Sarah activated another program. Throughout the Drachnid fleet, ship computer systems began displaying their own tactical data, revealing just how completely they had been compromised. Weapons, engines, life support, everything was now potentially under Earth's control. If you refuse, Maya said quietly, we'll be forced to demonstrate exactly how much we've learned about Drachnid technology. I don't think your empire would survive having its entire quantum network architecture exposed to the rest of the galaxy. For a long moment, silence filled the command center. The Supreme Commander's hologram flickered as he received reports from his increasingly panicked crew. Finally, his shoulders slumped in a gesture of defeat. You leave us no choice, he growled. We will withdraw. But know this, the Drachnid Empire does not forget. Maya's smile was cold. Good. Neither does humanity. Remember that the next time you think about testing another civilization. As the Drachnid fleet began their humiliating retreat, Sarah's hologram turned to Maya. Think they learned their lesson? They better have. Maya replied, watching the alien ships disappear into hyperspace. Because next time, we won't be so gentle. In orbit around Earth, hidden quantum sensors recorded the Drachnid withdrawal, adding the data to humanity's growing understanding of alien technology. The first interstellar war had ended before it truly began, not with violence, but with preparation, intelligence, and the understanding that sometimes the best defense is letting your enemy underestimate you. The aftermath of the Drachnid retreat sent shockwaves through their empire. In her quantum observatory beneath the Chilean desert, Dr. Sarah Chen monitored the chaos spreading through alien communication channels. Entire sectors of Drachnid space erupted in confusion as news of their fleet's humiliation spread. They're calling it impossible, Sarah reported to the emergency council session. The quantum hologram showed representatives from Earth's united government, their faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of tactical displays. Their military command is in disarray. 17 centuries of unchallenged superiority, broken by a species they considered primitive. Colonel Patel's hologram nodded grimly. And how are they responding? Sarah manipulated the data streams, revealing intercepted Drachnid communications, exactly as predicted. Their military leadership is demanding immediate retaliation, but their scientific courts, she smiled, they're asking different questions. The right questions. President Adaimai leaned forward in his chair. Elaborate, Doctor. The Drachnid built their empire on technological superiority, Sarah explained, pulling up analytical displays. But their approach to technology has been linear, predictable. They assume all species will develop along the same path they did. When they encountered our quantum systems, it shattered their entire paradigm. The displays showed Drachnid scientific facilities across their empire, all frantically analyzing data from their failed invasion. They can't understand how we developed quantum computing before achieving their level of spaceflight. It violates everything they thought they knew about technological progression. And that confusion is our greatest weapon, Maya added. Their entire military doctrine is based on predictability. They don't know how to fight an enemy that doesn't follow their rules. New alerts flashed across the quantum displays. Sarah's fingers danced through the holographic interface, pulling up fresh data. They're mobilizing their secondary fleets, 50 capital ships, gathering at their core worlds. Let them come, Maya said confidently. Every ship they send carries quantum systems we can compromise. Every transmission they make teaches us more about their technology. The more they escalate, the stronger our position becomes. President Adeyemi's expression remained concerned. Can we maintain our advantage? They'll be adapting their systems, trying to close the vulnerabilities we exploited. Sarah's smile widened. They're already trying. But here's what they don't understand. We're not just exploiting vulnerabilities in their code. We're exploiting vulnerabilities in their thinking. She brought up new displays, showing the complex web of quantum algorithms Earth had developed. Their entire empire runs on standardized protocols. Even their attempts to adapt follow predictable patterns. We're not just reading their code. We're reading their culture, their psychology, their entire approach to problem solving. The human algorithm, Maya mused. While they're trying to fix specific vulnerabilities, we're evolving our entire approach. Every countermeasure they develop becomes part of our learning matrix. The quantum displays flickered with new data as Earth's defense systems continued their silent work. Throughout Drachnid space, hidden quantum sensors gathered intelligence. Every ship movement, every communication, every attempt to understand their defeat fed into Earth's growing knowledge base. There's something else, Sarah added, her expression turning serious. We're detecting increased quantum communications between the Drachnid Empire and other spacefaring civilizations. Word of their defeat is spreading. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just defeated an invasion. They had shattered the image of Drachnid invincibility. Throughout the galaxy, species that had lived in fear of the Empire were beginning to ask questions. How long until their main fleet arrives? President Adeyemi asked. At their current pace, 5 days, Maya answered. But they're being cautious, running continuous scans, changing formation patterns, trying to avoid any predictability. Sarah's hands moved through the data streams, analyzing the Drachnid fleet's approach. They've modified their quantum protocols, trying to block our infiltration methods. The adaptations are impressive, but... She paused, studying a particular data pattern. Wait, this is interesting. What do you see? Maya's hologram moved closer to the display. Their new protocols, Sarah highlighted specific data sequences. They're not just defensive adaptations. They're trying to understand how we think. The changes they're making, they're attempting to predict how we might respond. Maya's expression turned thoughtful. Can they succeed? No, Sarah said confidently, because they're still thinking like Drachnid. Their predictions are based on their understanding of technology, their patterns of warfare. They can't predict what we'll do because they still don't understand what makes humans different. President Adeyemi straightened in his chair. And what exactly makes us different, Doctor? Sarah's response was immediate. We don't follow their rules. When they develop technology, they ask, how can we make this more powerful? When we develop technology, we ask, how can we make this do something completely unexpected? They see quantum computing as a tool for calculation. We see it as a way to rewrite the rules of reality itself. New alerts flashed across the displays. The Drachnid fleet had passed Neptune's orbit, their ships moving in complex patterns designed to confuse Earth's defenses. But with every movement, every scan, every attempt to probe Earth's defenses, they were revealing more about themselves. They think this is a war of technology, Maya observed. They don't understand it's really a war of imagination. Sarah nodded, watching as Earth's quantum systems continued their silent work. And imagination is something humanity has never lacked. In the space between worlds, the greatest fleet the Drachnid Empire had ever assembled continued its advance. They came prepared for every scenario their vast experience could imagine. But they were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology. It was in their ability to think beyond the possible. The real battle was about to begin, and Earth was ready to teach the galaxy a lesson about the dangers of underestimating human ingenuity. The Drachnid battle fleet filled Earth's long-range sensors like a constellation of artificial stars. 50 capital ships, each carrying enough firepower to level a continent, moved through the solar system in an intricate dance of overlapping defensive patterns. They had learned from their first defeat, or so they thought. They're being thorough, Sarah observed from her position in the Quantum Command Center. The holographic displays showed the alien fleet's approach in perfect detail, every ship trailing streams of tactical data that Earth's systems collected and analyzed in real time, running continuous quantum sweeps, rotating shield frequencies, changing encryption protocols every 30 seconds. Colonel Maya Patel's hologram nodded approvingly. They've adapted well. Almost makes me feel bad about what's about to happen to them. The Drachnid fleet had just passed Mars orbit when Sarah's quantum sensors detected an energy spike. They're powering weapons, she announced. All ships, all batteries. This time, they're not bothering with demands for surrender. I suppose that would be redundant, Maya smiled. Shall we show them what we've been working on? Sarah's fingers danced through the holographic interface, initiating the defense protocols they'd spent weeks preparing. Across the solar system, quantum nodes activated, creating a web of interconnected energy fields that the Drachnid sensors couldn't detect yet. The alien fleet opened fire. Thousands of energy beams and projectiles streaked toward Earth, enough firepower to crack the planet's crust. But halfway to their target, something unprecedented happened. The weapons fire simply vanished. Quantum phase shifting engage, Sarah reported calmly. Their attacks are being redirected into parallel space-time coordinates. Zero collateral damage to Earth or orbital installations. On the tactical displays, confusion spread through the Drachnid fleet. Ships began reporting weapon malfunctions, though their systems were functioning perfectly. They simply couldn't affect their target. The Supreme Commander's hologram appeared in the command center, his reptilian features twisted with fury. What trickery is this? Our weapons are working exactly as designed, Sarah interrupted. We've just changed the rules about where their effects manifest. Would you like to know where all that energy is going? She gestured, and new displays showed thousands of quantum rifts opening throughout the Drachnid fleet. From these tiers in space-time emerged their own weapon fire, carefully redirected to disable engines and weapon systems without causing catastrophic damage. Impossible, the commander breathed. You can't manipulate quantum space-time on this scale. The energy requirements alone would be astronomical using your methods, Sarah agreed. But you're still thinking linearly. We didn't try to overpower quantum mechanics. We convinced it to work with us instead of against us. Across the Drachnid fleet, ships began losing power as their own redirected energy disrupted their systems. Carefully calibrated quantum pulses froze their weapons, trapped their engines in temporal loops, and transformed their mighty shields into elaborate light shows with no defensive value. You see, Commander, Maya stepped forward. While you were perfecting your existing technology, we were asking different questions. You asked how to make your weapons more powerful. We asked why weapons needed to occupy the same space-time as their targets. You focused on stronger shields. We wondered if we could simply relocate the energy trying to hit us. The Supreme Commander's hologram flickered as his flagship systems began to fail. This violates every principle of quantum physics. No, Sarah corrected him. It violates every principle of quantum physics as you understand it. Human scientists have a long tradition of looking at established rules and asking, what if we tried something completely different? Throughout the solar system, Earth's true defensive capabilities revealed themselves. Quantum manipulators bent space-time around the Drachnid ships, trapping them in bubbles of altered physics, where their mighty weapons were reduced to light shows, and their advanced drives couldn't generate enough power to move a pebble. Here's what's going to happen, Maya announced to the increasingly desperate commander. We're going to release your ships, one by one. They will return to Drachnid space under their own power. And you're going to deliver a message to your empire. What message? The commander asked, his earlier arrogance replaced by something approaching respect. Humanity is not your enemy, Maya stated firmly. We don't want your territory. We don't seek conquest. But if you ever threaten Earth or any other developing civilization again, we won't be so gentle. Next time, we won't just redirect your weapons. We'll rewrite the laws of physics around your entire empire. The threat wasn't idle. Through their quantum networks, the Drachnid could see the true extent of Earth's capabilities. Humanity hadn't just developed new technology. They'd fundamentally changed how reality itself could be manipulated. There's one more thing, Sarah added, bringing up new displays. We're transmitting data packets to each of your ships. Complete schematics of the quantum phase shifting technology we just demonstrated. The commander's expression shifted to confusion. You're giving us your weapons. No, Sarah smiled. We're giving you a chance to evolve. These aren't weapons. They're tools. Ways to manipulate quantum space-time for exploration, for research, for advancement. Your empire is stagnated because you focused solely on power. We're showing you there are other paths. One by one, the Drachnid ships were released from their quantum prisons. As they retreated from Earth space, their computers absorbed the data Earth had provided, not secrets of weapons or defenses, but fundamentally new ways of looking at the universe itself. You think they'll understand? Maya asked as the last ship disappeared into hyperspace. Sarah watched the quantum readings of their departure. Some will. Their scientists are already studying the data we sent. They'll realize that what we showed them today wasn't just a defeat, it was an invitation to think differently. In the weeks that followed, Earth's quantum sensors detected massive changes throughout Drachnid space. Research facilities that had focused on weapons development began exploring quantum manipulation. Military shipyards started producing vessels designed for exploration rather than conquest. The lesson humanity had taught wasn't just about military power. It was about the importance of imagination, of looking beyond established limits, of asking what if instead of accepting what is. And in the vast darkness between the stars, other civilizations watched and learned. Humanity had done more than defeat an empire. They had shown the galaxy that the path to advancement didn't have to be paved with conquest. Sometimes, the greatest victory comes not from destroying your enemy, but from showing them a better way forward. The war was over. The real revolution was just beginning.